All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and let us be glad in it. We already rejoice and we're already glad in it here at Ramon Preston Enterprises. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen, to the Ramon Preston Show. Good afternoon, good afternoon. If you're coming on, please do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button. Put in the comments what city you're watching me from today. I always love to know what city you're watching me from, so please put in the comments what city you're watching me from. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you for joining me today. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about how a holding company can help your business. That's what I'm going to be talking to you about, how a holding company can help your business. If you are in business, if you are thinking about getting into business, if you are on your way out of business but don't know if you need to get back in business, I'm going to share some information with you to show you how you can use a holding company to help your business. So please hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. You should have been like this video. Please share this video, hit that share button, and make sure you tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know Prophet Ramon, my squad, in the Ramon Preston Show. We are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Today is Tuesday, October the 11th, 2022. And we are live in real time right here from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta at the Ramon Preston Enterprises headquarters. And I'm so delighted to have an opportunity to share some information with you. I know what I'm about to share with you is going to help you and it's going to help your business. So please hit the like button, hit the share button, put in the comments what city you're watching me from. For those of you that don't know, let me just officially say good afternoon. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I'm your host, Ramon Preston, every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. I show up on this show. My squad shows up with me on this show. And when we show up here Monday through Friday, our purpose is to share information with you that we know can help you start, structure, and at some point scale your business, your ministry, your income streams, or maybe you do all of the above. It doesn't really matter if you're a W-2 employee, if you are a 1099 contractor, or if you're a legitimate business owner. The principles and the strategies and the concepts that I share with you on this show are principles and strategies and concepts that I live in my own life, and I provide for so many students and so many clients who are already a part of our community. So I welcome you in. I thank you. I appreciate you for supporting the show, for subscribing to my YouTube page, for following me on other social media platforms. Thank you so much for your support. So today I want to talk about how does a holding company help your business? How does a holding company help your business? Now, I'm not going to be able to share with you every way a holding company can help your business. Of course, I only have a little bit of time on the show live, but I'm going to extend to you an offer by the end of today's show, so that if you want more information on how to start and structure holding companies, if you want more information on creative tax strategies, if you want more information on how to use this type of business structure to help what you intend to do in business, I want to extend an offer to you. And this offer is a one-time offer. I am in the process of preparing for my last final live public event on Saturday, October the 22nd. We're going to be hosting it here in Buckhead at the Marriott Buckhead Conference Center. It's the last public event that I'm hosting for the year. And what I decided to do, my team and I as well, what we decided to do was we decided to take the 2 signature courses that we have in our Millionaire Blueprint. I have an entire online training program. And so we decided to take 2 courses, 2 of the most popular courses that we have in that program. A course on holding companies, how to start and structure them with the do-it-yourself startup kit, and our course on creative tax strategies. So I decided to take both of those courses and offer them to you and to my community in preparation for our upcoming business boot camp. So this event that I'm hosting on the 22nd of this month, it's going to be a business boot camp. And I'm going to be taking about 4 hours to do a deep dive on holding companies, divisions, subsidiaries. I'm going to be talking about a lot of principles and practices on how you can use a holding company to really expand your business. I'm also going to be taking some time during that event to talk about creative tax strategies, things that you need to do to prepare yourself for the upcoming tax year so that you as an entrepreneur and business owner, you ain't stressed out and overtaxed and overpaying in taxes because you didn't do your due diligence with Business Accounting Now. So those two courses I wanted to extend to you and offer you because I want you to already be prepared so that when you join me on the 22nd, you already had an opportunity to go through some of the courses. As a matter of fact, this Saturday, I'm going to host a pop-up live coaching call. It's going to be a Zoom coaching call just to touch bases with everyone that takes me up on this offer. So if you're interested in getting access to both of those courses, I guess I'll just give you the plug right now. If you're interested in getting access to both of those courses, all you have to do is text Millionaire to 404-478-7213. So I want you to take this number down if you don't have it, because we're offering these two courses for only $197, and these courses generally go for $497 a piece. So if you go to my website now, you will see that my holding company course and my financial tax strategy course is $497 a piece. So that's $994 for both of them. I'm giving them to you for $197 because I want you to take the next 2 weeks to already prepare for what we're going to be talking about in our business boot camp. So text Millionaire to this number and I'll get back to that by the end of today's show to remind you, but I want to educate you. That's what a part of my assignment is. A part of my assignment is to educate. I know I'm an educator. I know I love to teach people and train people and give people the tools that they need in order to succeed. So today we're going to talk about how does a holding company help your business? Like, a lot of people don't even know about holding companies, number one. And for the people who do know about holding companies, some of them don't even know like what the advantage of having a holding company is and how this holding company actually helps your business. So I'm gonna just go through a few different things to show you how a holding company can actually help your business. One way a holding company can help your business is that a holding company, it legitimizes your legacy. This is one thing that a holding company does to help your business. It legitimizes your legacy. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you set up a holding company the correct way, and this is what I teach my students and I work with my clients on doing, when you're setting up a holding company, you should be setting your holding company up as a legacy company. Your holding company should be a legacy company because this is the company that you're going to use to build your legacy around. So even though from an operational standpoint, it's a parent company, it's an umbrella company, but from a long-term perspective, your holding company is actually a legacy company. This is one of the reasons why when I talk to my students and clients about starting and structuring holding companies, I always tell them you need to think about the name of your holding company. You need to think about how your holding company is going to be used, not just today, but how is your holding company going to be used 30 years from now? If you don't think that through, you're going to lose certain elements of your legacy when you're putting your holding company together. Like, for example, because I wanted my holding company to be a clear reflection of my legacy, and I wanted to legitimize my legacy through this company, I named my holding company Ramon Preston Enterprises. So I was able to kind of kill two birds with one stone. So I not only structured a holding company legally, but I was also able to position it so that it can legitimize my legacy, because now the holding company that I own and control carries my name. And so that's my legacy. And I always tell people this a lot. Even if you don't name your holding company after your name, what will probably happen 60 years from now, when your great grandchildren have your company and control it and run it, if it still exists, if you do all your due diligence, most likely they're going to name or rename your company after your name just to honor you. So sometimes you can avoid all that other stuff down the line by making sure that when you put your holding company together, you take the legacy of this company into consideration, because one of the things that a holding company does to help your business is it legitimizes your legacy. So again, I'm gonna be talking about this same concept this Saturday during my live coaching call that I'm gonna do for everyone who joins this offer that I'm extending. And then next Saturday on the 22nd of October, I'm gonna take 4 hours and I'm gonna do a deep dive into principles and practices for holding companies and creative tax strategies. So I wanna make sure that you are able to at least stay in the loop for the next 2 weeks. If you really wanna accelerate your education about holding companies and you really wanna wrap your mind around these principles and practices and concepts, I want you to stay in the loop. So how does a holding company help your business? Well, number one, a holding company legitimizes your legacy. So is that helping your business? Yes, helping your business, because at least you have a bigger why for what you are doing. So for example, if you have a business that you know you're using to sell products and services, but that business is a subsidiary or a operating entity of a holding company, but this holding company has been legitimized as a legacy company because you figured that part out, it makes what you do in your operating business easy. See, it's easy for me to wake up every day and to do certain business in real estate, to do certain business as a coach or consultant or educator and trainer. You know why? Because I have figured out what my parent organization's purpose is, what the bigger picture of my business is. And the bigger picture is, this is my legacy. And so all the other things that I do are all contributing to the legacy that I use to run through my holding company. Does that make sense? So that's one of the things that a holding company does to help your business. It actually legitimizes your legacy. Here's another thing that a holding company does to help your business. A holding company, it facilitates wealth building. Like everybody that I hear that be talking about, oh man, I want to build wealth and I'm trying to find out some wealth building tools. Well, having a holding company is a wealth building tool. It is actually a wealth building vehicle that you can use to build your wealth. It's a tool, it's a vehicle. So a holding company actually facilitates wealth building. Now, there are so many different ways that you can use a holding company to facilitate wealth building, but one of the simple ways is your holding company holds other assets. So when you're using your holding company, but if you ain't got no holding company, you don't understand the concept, most of the time you're not going to separate all of your assets that need to be in your holding company from the things that need to be in your operating company. You know I'm telling the truth. So for example, let's say if you have intellectual property. Let's say if you have trademarks. Let's say if you have copyrights. You know, if you got, what is it? The copyrights. Let's say if you got copyrights. I'm gonna just put CR for copyrights. Let's say you have certain patents. I don't know, you can have certain patents, you can have certain ownership interests, you can have certain stocks or bonds, you can have a whole lot of different assets, right? So let's say if you have all these different assets, and let me move this out the way. Let's say if you have all these different assets, and so these are assets right here, okay? So let's say you got all these assets and you have one business. This is one business that you have. And you operate in this one business. You selling products, you selling services, and all these different assets are owned by this business. Well, that may indicate that you don't understand the power of having a holding company. One of the ways your holding company can benefit your business is by facilitating. It facilitates wealth building. So now what you want to do is you want to put your business in a position to build wealth. So what you would do is you would create the holding company right here. And then you will have your operating company here, or maybe more operating companies or investment companies, or however many companies you want. IC is for investment companies. But a lot of these different assets here are not necessarily going to be owned by these entities. These assets are going to be owned by this entity. So you start separating your assets because you're doing what? You're building wealth. This is why a holding company can help your business, because it will facilitate building wealth. And the way you start building that wealth is you start taking all your assets, your intellectual property, your trademarks, your copyrights, your patents, your ownership interests. That's supposed to be an I, by the way. Ownership interests, your stocks and your bonds, and you start separating them. Okay, so the second thing that a holding company does to help your business is it facilitates wealth building. It facilitates wealth building, and you should be in the business of building wealth. No matter what type of business you're in, you should still be in the business of building wealth. Now, this is real critical because every economist that I listen to, every wealthy person that I've been listening to lately, they've been saying for the next 1 to 2 years, it's going to be a whole lot of chaos going on. It's going to be a lot of economic volatility. We're already seeing it with inflation and interest rates and supplies and goods and services going up and all these different things, wages going down, people resigning, businesses closing. It's a lot going on economically. And so a lot of the economists and wealthy people in high places, they're all basically saying the next 12 to 24 months are going to be critical. But what you might not know is we're already in the middle of one of the greatest wealth transfers ever, because we have a generation called the baby boomers. And a lot of this generation, they own businesses, they own assets, they have retirement accounts, they have trillions and trillions of dollars that they own and control. But a lot of baby boomers are retiring. They're leaving the workforce. They're leaving entrepreneurship. They're getting out of businesses. They're dying. So many things are happening, right? They're settling, and the sun is setting for a lot of them. And so what a lot of global economists are projecting is that for the next 8 to 10 years or so, we're going to see like this massive wealth transfer. Well, when this wealth transfer takes place, how do you think it's going to take place? Do you think it's going to take place person to person? You think somebody's just going to walk up to another person and say, oh, I'm going to give you $10 billion. Do you think uncle going to walk up to nephew and say, hey, nephew, I want to give you $100 million? Now, that may happen, but most of the times it ain't going to happen person to person. It's going to happen business to business. So you should already have your business set up and structured in a way so that you can capitalize on this wealth transfer that's inevitable. So that's two ways I gave you, 2 ways a holding company helps a business. Number 1, a holding company legitimizes your legacy. Number 2, a holding company facilitates wealth building. A holding company facilitates wealth building. Number 3, and this is a very common one that I use a lot, but number 3, a holding company actually executes the 4 Ps. This is a very common principle that I teach on holding companies. The 4 P's are protection. You may have already heard this. Protection, preservation, production, and purchase. Purchasing. So this is the third way that a holding company helps a business. It helps to execute the 4 P's. Protection. So that means you are going to be extra protected by having this holding company, because now the holding company owns the company and not necessarily you. Even though if you own the LLC, you're still protected by the LLC, but this just adds an extra layer of protection, right? What is the preservation? How does it execute preservation? Because now you're able to preserve a lot of the assets that you have in this one entity without having to expose them to those other entities. So if you got certain entities that are out there in the marketplace doing business, moving, got a lot of activity going on, you don't want that business to be heavy on assets. You want that business to be light on assets, and you want those assets to be preserved in another entity, that if this other entity that's operating needs to use certain assets, you can always have an agreement between your holding company and that other entity. So it executes preservation. It also executes production. How does it execute production? Because it makes these other businesses more productive. You're able to produce more because now the holding company can actually play the role of asset manager. That's the purpose of you having this holding company, so that it can become the asset manager. If it's the asset manager, it gives your other operating companies more power to produce, more flexibility to produce, more wiggle room to produce. You got to learn this stuff if you want to build wealth, okay? And number 4, a holding company executes purchasing power, which means the more operating companies you have that are generating revenue, the stronger the financial ability of the holding company is. Because remember, the holding company owns all these other businesses. That's why I keep telling people, you don't want to own multiple businesses yourself. You want your multiple businesses to be owned by the one business that you own, which is the holding company. All right, so that's the 4th way a holding company can help a business. Well, that's the 3rd way. I'm sorry, 3rd way. Number 4, the 4th way a holding company can help a business is it can, let's see here. It can foster consolidation and centralization. Now, how does a holding company foster consolidation? Well, when you have a holding company and you have operating companies under it, it fosters consolidation, because now you can pretty much consolidate everything up to the one entity. Everything gets consolidated. So you have the one entity here, and let's say if you got 4 other entities. Well, there's a level of consolidation that they have because they're all being consolidated up to one. This helps even when you do your taxes. Like, I got clients that I have worked with to put these types of infrastructures together, so I know what I'm saying is true. And they have gone to their CPAs, and their CPAs have told them, you have made my life a little bit easier because of how you have consolidated everything so that it can be more clear on what I need to do when you bring your paperwork to me. So it fosters consolidation and it fosters centralization, which means your holding company becomes like the central hub. It becomes the central hub. So let's say if one business needs money and another business has money, well, that business is not necessarily going to give that business money. This money may come up to the holding company, and the holding company can facilitate some of these moves, especially when these moves and decisions are actually the proper decisions and moves that need to be made. Now, again, with some of these strategies and principles that I talk about, I always tell people, you want to have a tax expert, you want to have a CPA, you want to have a tax strategist, you want to have people who know what they're talking about to walk you through these things, because if you just listening to internet people like me, what I could be saying may work for me based on certain things that I got going on, but you got to remember, I'm just honest enough to tell you, when I talk about some of these concepts and ideas, I am running them by my tax strategist before I do it, because I'm asking my tax strategist, hey, is this something that I can do, or what is this considered? And then they tell me, well, you can do this, but you're not going to be able to do that. Or if you do this and that, you need to do it this way or that way. And I'm like, oh, okay. So a lot of the information that I share with you, I always like to circle back around and say, be sure that you got experts, CPAs, attorneys, tax strategists, people who are certified, not people who just on the internet talking. So I don't never claim to be an expert. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not a tax expert. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a lawyer. I just give information based on my experiences, many of which I've had with experts, but I'm still limited in my scope. So I just want to throw that out there so that you can understand, when you start getting into consolidating your taxes and centralizing your operations and doing things of that magnitude, you start moving into these sophisticated areas of strategy that require you to have expert, certified, licensed legal people who could help you do the right things, because they know the tax code, they know these tax laws. People like me who are entrepreneurs running our mouths, we don't know it nowhere near like they know it. We just get pieces of data and we share with you. But again, it's really the ingenuity. And I got to say this in defense to entrepreneurs, even though we do have some idiots who just take it too far. But I'm saying this in defense of entrepreneurs. It's the ingenuity of an entrepreneur a lot of times that pushes a lot of these experts to go deeper into those codes to find creative ways. We help a lot of these professionals get creative because we keep pushing them. We're always trying to look for new ideas, and it always pushes them into finding out more things and deep diving and digging into what those laws and codes are, so that we can be as creatively strategic as we possibly can. All right, so that's number 4, and I'm gonna give you one more way a holding company can help your business. Whew, this is good. A holding company can help your business by allocation and distribution. So what a holding company, and this is allocation and distributions of funds and assets. So one of the things that people do with holding companies is they use these holding companies to, as I mentioned earlier, take, let's say, pre-tax revenue, and they balance these other businesses out, because you may have a holding company that owns multiple entities, and one entity may be winning big and another 2 entities may be losing, and one entity may be real estate and you got depreciation. So what happens is, when you start moving money around and making a lot of financial decisions within your holding company through just business expenses and investments and buying businesses and acquisitions and stuff, what happens is these allocations and distributions or redistributions of funds and assets, they start expanding your business. They start building your net worth and giving you the financial freedom and flexibility to do some amazing things. So again, I have a very, very busy day today, so I'm not going to be able to stay on here long like I typically do, but I wanted to at least share with you as many things as possible as I could on how a holding company can help your business. So if you followed me through all of the 5 that I just shared, I want you to put in the comments what your biggest takeaway was so far. Like, what is the one thing that I said that you feel like stood out among all the other things? And I want you to put it in the comments. And again, I want you to take me up on this offer. As I mentioned before, I'm giving 2 courses away for $197. And these 2 courses are going to be on holding companies and creative tax strategy. So if you want to learn all the ins and outs of how to start and structure a holding company and have access to a do-it-yourself startup kit, I have a kit included in there. It has documents and forms, operating agreements, other forms that you may need to use when you're building your holding company out. I have walkthrough tutorial videos to show you how to file and form your paperwork for your EIN, for your articles of organization, to make sure that everything is categorized correctly, that you have the right wording and the right language, even when you're drafting your operating agreement. And then I want to give you access to my creative tax strategy course, because most entrepreneurs are not financially prepared for tax season. And most of the time it's because they don't understand the basics of business accounting. They don't know about QuickBooks. They don't know how to use QuickBooks to really track their income and expenses, to forecast, and to really create a financial game plan, not just for the current time, but for the future. All of this is a part of your creative strategies. I want to give you access to those 2 courses for $197. So they typically sell for $994. I'm giving them to you for $197. And with that, I'm also giving you access to a free live coaching call that I'm hosting this Saturday. Plus, you're going to join me on October the 22nd for a 4-hour boot camp. So if you want to take me up on that, I want you to text Millionaire right now to this number so that we can get you onboarded, signed up, get you learning today. So by Saturday, you would have already gone through some modules. And if you have questions, I'll be able to answer those questions and help you. Like, I really want everybody to learn about holding companies. I want everybody to learn about creative tax strategies. I want everybody to learn about systems and processes, because these are the principles. These are the concepts that changed my financial life forever. And because I know it works, it's kind of like finding out the secret sauce and tasting it, and it works, and you like, man, I want to give it to everybody. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm giving such a deep discount of $197 for these 2 courses, plus a live coaching call this Saturday, plus a VIP ticket to our upcoming boot camp, so that I can answer more questions, go deeper into these concepts, and help you put your organization or enterprise together the right way before this year is out. Take me up on it. Text Millionaire to 404-478-7213. I got a busy Tuesday. I love all of you and appreciate all of you. I will be back tomorrow on Wednesday right here, same place, same time, on the Ramon Preston Show. And don't forget, put some feedback in the comments. Let me know what your biggest takeaway is for today. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page. Follow me on all these other platforms. You can find me at Ramon Preston. Love you, appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow right here.